stop. Stop, stop, stop. Okay? This is not a video for anyone happily smoking weed. If you're a smoker and happy with it, please smoke one for me too, Do your thing, smoke that za, the devil's lettuce, the Satan spinach, the Mary Jane, the MJ, the gas, the loud, the flower, that herb, that green, that sticky icky, that jazz cabbage, that electric lettuce, that wacky tobacco, that giggle bush, that broccoli, that skunk, that chronic, that reefer, that kush, that dank, the booth, the pack, the doja, that good, the left-handed cigarette, the happy grass, the hippie hay, the bud, the nug, the fire, that fuego, that loud pack, that ganja, that grass, that doobie does, that blinker fuel, that cosmic parsley, the wizard weed, the funky fern, the green goblin, the moongrass, the couch salad, the anxiety DLC, the motivation remover, the Wi-Fi enhancer. To me, the perfect name would be the beautiful liar. Every time I smoked, I wanted to quit, and every time I was sober, I wanted to get high. And I was stuck in that loop for at least 3 years before quitting. I started smoking when I was like 13, but only occasionally with friends every few months. And it was the greatest thing ever. Everything tasted amazing, smelled amazing, and looked amazing. Inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit. But then we get to the habit part of it that creeps in. I'm currently 36 going to 37 and have been smoking every day since around the age of 18. That's like half my life. And I have always been responsible with work and life, so I never thought weed got in the way. I thought I'd be a stoner for the rest of my life, and I was okay with that. But after going cold turkey sober for a little bit over a month, I can confidently say that I'm not interested in ever smoking weed again. And even though it's only been a month and my body's still adjusting, and there's more adjusting left, I feel like a completely different person. Or more accurately, I feel like I have myself back and didn't know that I was missing. I spent like the last 2 decades operating at 50% of my potential and have zero interest in going back. And don't get me started on the health effects they had on me the past 2 years. From extreme anxiety to anxiety attacks, and I'm talking about like full-blown tremors and shaking to regular heartbeat and inflammations. It was all bad. And now a month later, not a sign of any of that. Besides the first 2 weeks to a week to 2 weeks, that was its own hell, but still there was no doubt in my head that I had to go through that adjustment process. I had zero cravings from the moment I made that decision till this day. Withdrawal symptoms were essentially zero motivation to do anything as my dopamine levels were fried. The first week I also would wake up in the middle of the night constantly in sweat, like cold sweats. And oh yeah, the dreams are back. Ever since I quit, I've been able to dream vividly like I haven't in 2 decades. Mostly positive dreams, surprisingly, because I'm on the more anxious side of the spectrum, but come to realize that I'm actually not. It was the weed bringing that anxious, doubtful version of myself in the surface of an actually confident person. And I'm glad to be back to my old self. I think I have accomplished and progressed more in the last month than I have in the last decade. If I were to time travel 10 years in the past and tell myself anything, it would be just kick that shit. And if you're in a similar situation where you're contemplating whether to quit or not, think for yourself as the 10-year version of yourself in the future that, warning yourself now. And don't get me started on the legalization aspect of it, because I have to put my tinfoil hat on. Not only that, in the past few years, it has been pushed as the holy solve-all medicine, which makes me think somebody's trying to have everyone sleep and operating at their least potential. But if you do your research on what they're spraying on all this shit, like the legal bud and all the toxic pesticides in the weed cards, you'd understand that the rabbit hole goes way deeper. I mean, personally speaking, I don't remember having none of the negative side effects before it became legal and I was getting from growers I knew, so yeah, that's just some food for thought. In conclusion, if you're debating on whether to quit or not and it has been on your mind, I can guarantee you that the high of life once you're out of that addiction hole is much more fulfilling and dopamine inducing than any gas you can smoke. Being the best you is actually free. I can't even count the amount of times that I thought to myself, I'm gonna quit, then decided to head to the dispensary for my quote-unquote last purchase. Then on the drive there, I could hear the real me internally just screaming for help. But nope, I would still go there, and cop and waste my money and time at the same time doing it. Every time I said I'm quitting after this pack, I never quit. The moment I threw all I had in the trash, that was indeed the time I quit. There's also plenty of studies that have come out lately suggesting that long-term daily cannabis consumption can and will result in cardiovascular complications, and that kind of makes sense. Not to mention the financial burden that it becomes once you're a daily user and your tolerance demands half an ounce a week. Spending like $400 to $1,000 a month on weed is not a good investment whatsoever. I don't care if you think you're creative and think that it can assist that. Nah, trust me, it doesn't. What aspect of being creative matters when you become zombified and can't even execute at your highest potential? And once again, this is not for anyone happily smoking that hasn't reached the point that I have. I was just fed up, and everyone is different and entitled to their own opinions. You know, don't get on the comments trying to tell me that, yo, that's you and I'm happy. I'm happy for you. Trust me, I'm happy for you. You can be sober as it gets and still be lazy, you know, but that's a thing as well. You can be sober as hell and lazy as hell. I'm just speaking on my personal opinion and the conclusions that I have come to. Maybe I'll smoke someday again, but there's zero cravings for the time being. I've also made a checklist that if I'm not where I want to be in life, then I would do myself a disservice to smoke. I actually enjoy being sober. I've come to the point where I think of something, then I execute immediately, instead of thinking of all the unnecessary details and reasons on why not to do it or put it to the side for a later day until the quote-unquote time is right. Funny and sad if you ask me, because besides a beautiful liar, it is also a time thief. I would say I enjoyed my first 5 years of daily usage, but after that it was obvious that it wasn't worth it and it was just diminishing returns. Gotta wake and bake to enjoy that coffee. Gotta spark up again 1 to 2 hours later because the dopamine levels are low, so now you're not motivated to start the day, but now you're too high, so you're gonna chill for a little bit and so on, and you know, the endless loop where shit just ain't getting done is, you know, in full effect. I'm not gonna blame weed for my shortcomings, but I'm not gonna sit here and try not to hurt other people's feelings when I notice the patterns that I have been noticing years before I quit. I say if you're young and want to try it out, go for it. It will be an experience to remember, but if you were to ask me of good memories smoking weed, then my mind will only go back to like my teen years, back when it was actually an adventure, and not the 15 plus years of daily usage and rotting. Let this channel be a proof of concept for the procrastination that weed causes. I've been thinking of making a channel to express my thoughts and create a discourse for years, and it finally only happened after I quit smoking, and I'm only a month in. Like seriously, this is my first video. I just feel clear-minded now. Doom scrolling has decreased, bad habits in general have as well. Can't even count the amount of times I woke up motivated to crush it, then sparked up and ended up spending half my day watching YouTube while playing video games. Like I said, it's no coincidence that the stigma around it has flipped. I mean, I remember getting my medical cannabis card before it was legal across the board and had used the excuse of my lower back pains, which everyone vouched would help me. And 1 month of no weed and my back hasn't felt better. So inflammation from smoking actually might have been the cause all along, but I'm not a doctor, who knows? Anyhow, you know, that's all I got for now. Y'all hit me in the comments, let me know where you guys stand on the topic. Are you trying to quit? Are you smoking? You know, press the subscribe button. I got a few more ideas. This is just my first video, so you know, let's create a discourse, and there should be a part 2 of this video and a follow-up, and I might even go through your guys' comments. So yeah, peace.